Hi, this is Chris Brown with ClosePoint USA, and today I have to say we have probably one of the coolest attorneys I've ever met. She is somebody that always maintains a very level, calming voice, even in the height of a stressful transaction. She's somebody that brings the temperature down in every transaction that I have had with her, and they close because of her demeanor, her attitude towards closing. And I thought it'd be a great idea to bring her on board and have a podcast with her and talk about how she became so successful, and more importantly, how she stays so calm. She's a fantastic individual to talk to, somebody that can absolutely represent your real estate from a sales side, a purchase side, as well as your commercial or refinance transactions. So today we have the great attorney, the most calming attorney, Miss Danielle Lozito. How are you, Danielle?
Great, Chris. Thank you for the introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad you can make it down from North Brunswick.
Thank you.
Any problems finding us?
Not at all. It was a straight shot down the New Jersey Turnpike.
Nice. Some people, like, if they come from the west side or along the shore, they're like, Jesus Christ, I had to go through, 95, get down to 295, then jump on 73, and it's like, okay, I'm sorry, make you come this far. But yeah, North Brunswick is great.
Yeah.
So let's start talking about you in high school. What were you like? What was your, personality? Where were you, what brought you to this success? And I usually start in high school because that's our formative years.
Yeah.
So I figured let's start there with Danielle.
I guess I was a good student. I wasn't it was kind of rebellious.
Okay. I can see that.
I was stealing my parents' car at 16.
Nice.
Taking it to the city to
really?
Yeah.
At 16.
At 16.
That's gutsy.
My parents aren't here anymore, so
God bless them.
yeah. So I was taking my parents' car to the city, going to, I think, what was it, the Limelight in the Tunnel.
Okay.
But I think a few times they may have said, where's all the gas in my car? And I have no idea. I think at one point one of my neighbors may have seen me driving my parents' car and said, if you don't go home right now, I'm going to tell your parents.
Totally different era, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. I think another time one of the local police officers in town, this was, of course, before body cam, saw me out on the road and said, I'm going to follow you home and make sure you put that car away. Definitely
a different time.
I was definitely a good student, but I was definitely a bit rebellious.
Nice.
And my parents gave us a lot of freedom. At 13, I was boating on my own. I had my own boat at 13, and down in the Florida Keys, my dad would hand me the keys and we'd be like, okay, see ya. Left the dock at 8 a.m. and come back at 7 p.m.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and that was me in high school.
So you were managing responsibility early.
Yes.
Like you didn't care. You
Yes.
know what? I got this.
Yes.
And that's why it probably led you into becoming an entrepreneur in that type of spirit. So let's talk about the keys real quick.
Yes.
So you go out in this boat. What kind of boat was it?
It was a 20-foot Mako.
A 20-foot Mako.
Yes.
Powered boat.
Yes.
And you would go out by yourself, or?
I would take my twin sister, and often we'd bring friends down with us.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you were out all day just chilling?
Out all day. We'd go spear fishing. We'd go fishing. We'd go tubing. We'd pop around to, docks and go, dock and dine and,
wow.
What have you. And
how often did you guys get down to Florida?
I'd say probably like 7-8 times a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So your dad really loved it down there?
Yeah.
Did he have a place down there?
Yes.
Oh, he did. That was cool.
Yeah.
Very
eventually
nice.
he moved down there and opened up a restaurant and built some houses down there.
So he was a contractor, your dad?
Yes.
And he's the one that led you to your first office, I guess,
Yes.
in Milltown?
Yes.
Where you guys Talk about that office, because
Yes.
I always liked that office. Because
Yes.
when I would go in there and do closings, I was like, this is really nice. I
Yes.
mean, well appointed, simple, not complicated, easy for clients to get in and out, other than the parking. I will, But talk about the building. How did that come about?
Yeah, so I guess I was practicing law for 10 years
Okay.
at an insurance defense firm. And,
Yeah.
that served me really well. It was my first job out of law school. I liked what I was doing, but I was working under one of the managing partners. He trusted me. I loved what I was doing, and I was working on high-profile cases. But he was on the golf course. I was doing his work. Everything was going out under his name. So I was
Gotcha.
essentially kind of dying a slow death. Nothing was going out under my name, and I was essentially him. And that was comfortable for a while, and it occurred to me that, when I needed to make a move, I didn't have any, individual persona at that firm.
Sure.
So, I knew that eventually I would need to know real estate, because it's my family business. And I thought about making a move, and kind of made the jump. And I found that property in Milltown and decided, let me try to open up my own firm. Found the property, started working on renovating it, purchased it, obviously, of course, with the assistance of my dad. My father knew a lot about properties.
Right.
Came
And you trusted him.
Trusted him implicitly.
Yeah.
You
guys were close.
Yes, very close.
That's awesome.
He, back in, I'd say, the 70s and 80s, he would buy foreclosed properties, go in, essentially paint them, cosmetically fix them up,
Right.
and look to flip them,
Sure.
as quickly as possible.
So you were exposed to that early.
Yeah.
You knew that business from your dad.
Yeah, he would do
Gotcha.
that, over and over again. Some he'd hold, some he'd flip. So and he built houses. He built houses on spec. He built custom homes.
Oh, wow.
So he definitely knew what he was doing. So I trusted him implicitly. He came and looked at that property with me. We bought it from a real estate agent. She wouldn't entertain any offers unless inspections were entirely waived.
Oh, wow. Even back then, huh?
Even back then.
Which is unheard of.
No, and I remember she had a legal pad full of notes where she had entertained offers.
Right.
And she wouldn't accept any offers unless inspections were waived. And I still don't know what was behind any of that. But he came, he looked at it with me, and he said, okay, put an offer in. And I did. It got accepted. Of course, inspections were waived, and then we closed on it and started renovation work, and moved in. And then when it was all done, that's when I gave notice at my old job.
Oh, so you're still working at the...
I was.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
Yes.
Double dipping.
I was.
Like trying to balance both is not easy.
Yes.
Oh,
no,
my goodness.
No. And
You're a grinder.
I was essentially the general contractor with the help of my father. So
Sure.
you know how that is.
It's a lot.
Your flooring person calls you and they say, we need 5 more boxes of tile at 8 o'clock at night, and you're running to Home Depot.
Right.
So when it was ready, that's when I essentially gave notice, and then I was literally sitting at my desk at the new office on day one, writing note cards to every single person that I knew, saying, I've opened up my practice. I do everything. I do everything,
Right.
and I took everything. I took municipal court. I took some, low-level personal injury, wills, anything. And of course, it took me forever to do anything because I didn't know the first thing about anything.
So what year was that?
That was, I guess, 2012.
Okay.
And then I fell into the real estate.
Tough time to get in at 2012.
Yeah, yeah,
Just on the heels of the
Yeah.
financial meltdown. We were just starting
yeah.
to claw
Yes.
our way out of that
Yes.
situation.
And then,
Wow.
I was doing 2 closings a month back then. And then I, work up to like maybe 5. And then it just snowballed. And luckily, I'm at the point now where that's all I do.
Wow.
And
So the closings, let's talk about this. So let's talk about your marketing. Well, there's so much to talk about. I want to talk about, but law school. Where'd you go to law school?
New York law.
New York Law. Great school. And you get this high-powered degree. You're working for this big. Didn't you say to yourself, you know what? Maybe I should go to a big firm and establish myself as a partner, or I'm going to open up my own gig? Because I've talked to attorneys and they're at that crossroads. That's got to be. It must have been a tough time for you in terms of deciding that choice and going on your own.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, to me, opening up my own firm wasn't really an option from the start.
Okay. Yeah. That's.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
I wanted the experience.
Sure.
I wanted the experience of working at a firm.
Mm-hmm.
And I in my mind, I could have stayed. I could have done the firm route. Stayed at a firm.
Mm-hmm.
But I was reaching a level of being stagnant and not really doing much.
Were you not inspired anymore? Like
I wasn't. Yeah, I
you
wasn't.
weren't fired
I
up to go to
wasn't.
work.
Yeah.
And I think you're somebody that I've seen that you'd like to be inspired.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
want to be, especially somebody who's got like a Peloton in their office while they're typing up letters. I see her exercising at the same time. I'm like, oh, that's ambitious.
I also love cleaning the toilet and
As an
ordering
owner, that's
supplies. Yes,
exactly.
yes.
That's so you in 2012 you open up. You're sending out letters, handwritten letters to all the people that you know. What other marketing were you doing? Were you going to visit people? Or
I was delivering bagels to offices and I'd say that wasn't so much in 2012.
Okay.
That was once I kind of segued more into the real estate.
Gotcha.
When I got more into the real estate niche, that's when I started realizing that going to events, delivering bagels,
Right.
stuff like that is more of a better form of marketing.
Hitting the road.
Yeah, hitting
Creating
the road,
your-
getting your hands, feet on the ground.
And you know what? The more people I talk to that are of your level of success, that's how they all did it.
Yeah.
There's no like secret sauce. There's no algorithm. There's no, sit in your office and command that. I
Yeah.
mean, I did it. I was going around to different offices when I was like, 31, 32 years old, and doing exactly that and hosting events and trying to create buzz for yourself that
Yeah.
you fit into somebody's, process, I guess you'd say. And it's funny that every single person that I've talked to that they all did it.
Yeah.
And I think the younger generation, I don't think they realize that's what they have to do.
Exactly.
They wouldn't be on TikTok so much talking about, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, unless they go out and try.
Exactly.
Go do it.
Yeah.
And I see you and I see a few others that it's the same story.
Yeah.
Delivering bagels, just trying to make yourself matter in someone else's life that can give you business is huge.
I've seen it with me personally. Like, I've had, like, title company, for example, somebody has called on me coming into my office, 10, 15 times. And then at one time when, I may be walking out the door, they may be walking in.
Yes.
They stop, we talk for 5 minutes, and then you're like, oh, I just formed a connection, and, let me try them.
Yeah.
And then you may love the service, but it's just that one interaction.
That 5-minute interaction that won the deal for them.
Yeah.
And nobody realizes that's the consistency approach to always going after somebody like you to get that type of business. So let's talk about your staff. How are you staffed now? Who do you have? Joanne?
I have Joanne, my paralegal, who's been doing real estate maybe longer than I've been practicing real estate.
Wow, she's very good. I will give her a shout out. She's
great.
We love dealing with her.
Yeah.
All our settlement managers, they love working with her. Just so you know.
Alyssa, who's another attorney. Alyssa handles sales. She handles the stuff that I don't really like doing,
I got
which
you.
is clearing title, preparing the conveyance docs,
Right.
and pushing the file over the finish line on sales. Not to say that I don't like that, but
No, I get what you're saying.
The nitty gritty
Yeah.
of that. And then I have my assistant Dom, who's great. She's bilingual. I take a lot of Spanish speaking clients actually, because what I'll do is I'll have her on the line with me during attorney review, because I like to do attorney review over the phone.
Sure.
You just can't do that via email.
No.
That's a conversation. I'll have her on the phone with me. We'll talk through the attorney review, and then Google Translate is amazing for emails. So inspection type stuff, dates, deadlines, scheduling and closing, all that stuff that I like to do in email, so that you have a thread and your file is documented.
Your confirmation.
I'll do it, in Google Translate. That's great. I have some clients that are, don't speak English, and she'll help me with the attorney review, and then all the other stuff is in Google. I use Google Translate via email, and then she's there for anything else
In
that needs to
between,
be done.
yeah.
And then I have another assistant that's part-time.
Wow. So you've grown some.
Yeah.
Since I've known you.
Yeah.
It's probably about 10 years. And you being at the office, I remember, what was her name?
Marianne.
Marianne.
Yeah.
I remember Marianne. Alyssa came on later.
Yes.
But it was just you and Marianne.
Yes.
Like, not doing a little bit of deals.
Yes.
Like, if I were to guess, at that time, you were doing between 35 and 40 deals a month.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you still at that range?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's a huge credit to you. I
Yeah.
mean, that's happened from bagels.
Yeah.
And so if you were to give any young person that's going after business and establish themselves as what should they take away from this? What's the advice?
Be persistent, be hands-on. I mean, sometimes, people get caught up in, making reels and stuff like that, but it's more than that. It's more of like the human interaction.
Yes.
Picking up the phone. I say often, to my staff, pick up the phone. Don't just yes, sure, we are in an industry where, a lot does need to be done via email, especially because, 2 years from now, if somebody says, well, I asked for this, or even a week or a month from now, especially for home inspection related items, I like to keep a lot of stuff via email just to document my file.
Of course.
Or, when somebody sends me an email and then they call, I things have to be responded to via email when somebody's asking me something via email. But a phone call is always goes a long way.
Seems to calm people's nerves when they hear the human voice.
Definitely.
Even though that we've gone to an AI receptionist, I'm big on, if you have an impasse and you're seeing the emails go awry, there's a miscommunication happening.
Yes.
And the younger people here, pick up the phone.
Yes.
Explain what's going on.
Yeah.
That something in an email can't convey. Something in your voice that gives reassurance that it's going to be handled.
Yeah.
It just takes time.
Definitely.
Toughest transaction you ever dealt with? Worst story time. What sticks out in your mind? And you had a win from it.
Well.
You don't have to name names or
No,
anything.
no. I've seen some really rough stuff. I've had a seller come in and explain to me that it was a pretty bad divorce, and she explained that her husband had sawed their mattress in half and threw her half down the steps and made her sleep downstairs in the basement.
No shit.
That was pretty bad.
Wow.
And I think she was under the influence of some sort of substance at the table signing documents.
Wow.
I mean, just stuff like that. It's so emotional because, a lot of times people are selling their home. They're, oftentimes they're happy, but sometimes they are
There's that 10%.
divorced, death. They're under financial distress. There's, divorce, death, financial distress is often, a lot of times, like more often than you'd think, the situation that we see.
Right.
There's even inspection-related items. Inspections blow up the deal about 85% of the time, and sellers think that they're living in a palace, and
Just built yesterday.
Yeah, buyers think it's like a shithole.
A shithole.
Yeah.
And they're way apart.
Yeah.
And somehow they're in a contract together.
Yeah. But
that's a good point.
yeah, the mattress thing was pretty sad. And then you just see people, I've seen some people that have been like pretty destitute and home is in horrible disrepair.
Right.
They didn't have enough resources to even get to, I think one of the signers was in the hospital. They didn't have enough resources to get to the hospital to get the documents signed, and then they forgot, some photo ID at home, and, it was like one thing after another.
Murphy's Law kicked in.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But you did it.
We did. Yeah, it always works out. It's just.
I have a saying where it's very hard for a real estate deal to die because there's so many people working on it together to come up with solutions.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has to be something extreme with the house that
Yes.
is not in someone's time frame
Yes.
to get it fixed.
Yeah.
Or they're disgusted.
Yeah.
I mean, to that level.
Yeah.
But our cancellation rate, we did just under 2,000 transactions. Our cancellation rate was only 13%.
What percent?
13%.
Okay.
Last year.
Okay.
And we're working on improving that. But I don't know if that's possible because the average is actually closer to 20 in the industry for deals. I don't know what your experience is at your law firm, but it's some of these deals, they should have never came together to begin with,
Yeah.
which is interesting enough. But what is the mission when you opened up and you said, I want to do everything for everybody, and then you honed in on real estate, obviously? What is the mission of the office? Like, what is the mantra? What is like the culture or the personality of your office? Because I think it's cool, but I want you to tell people how you establish that and what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everybody just kind of supports each other. I mean, we get through the day by, I pick up the phone. I think I'm a pretty easygoing employee.
Yeah.
I pick up the phone, I joke with my staff. Sometimes I candidly, I have a hard time, being a boss because I'm a jokester, and I'm like, I call my assistant, I'm like, would you freaking believe this and that, like, and
I get it.
we joke around, like,
Yeah.
we have a really good, like, we're friendly,
it.
we're
Right.
friendly with each other, and
It's very rare.
yeah,
That culture is very rare.
yeah, definitely,
I've seen it in other law firms, and I'm like, this place is like a morgue.
yeah,
But then you go to your office, and hey, how you doing? People be popping around. You know what I mean? It's lighthearted.
Exactly. Exactly.
Congratulations to your people, other offices. Oh yeah, you're over there. This is where you're signed. And that's
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, great. Thanks for.
and it's the only way we get by, because there's everybody kind of trusts each other, and they trust that things are going to happen. There's going to be like mistakes. There's going to be mishaps. We're moving. Everybody, real estate moves fast,
Very.
and you have to there's going to be problems, and you just have to work towards a solution.
Totally changing lanes here. Tell me about the Bronco. What's going on with the Bronco? Because the last time I really talked to you, you
Which
were
one?
buying a Bronco. Which one now? See,
So
Colorado
I
Bronco.
sold that Bronco.
You did sell it.
I just bought a new one. I just bought a 1968 Ford F-100.
So you have an affinity for the older Broncos
Yes.
that are rebuilt, and you just enjoy that.
Yes.
Explain that, because
Well-
that's cool to me.
I did buy a 75 Bronco, and it hated me.
Oh, really?
It broke down almost, it broke down about 70% of the times that I drove it.
Was it the transmission, if I remember?
It was, it just hated me.
It just hated you. That's very hard to
My
find.
brother-in-law drove it, I guess it was Memorial Day weekend 3 years ago, and he drove it all weekend long. And then I jumped in it, and I drove it about 4 miles, and then it broke down. I'm
Okay.
like, are you joking me?
Wow.
So I flatbedded it up to the place in Edison where the guy services it, and I was praying that it fell off the flatbed at that point on the parkway,
Right.
because I had it well insured.
Right.
And it didn't.
It didn't.
And then it made it up, and then I put it on Bring a Trailer, and sold it to a kid in California. And he texts me every now and then, and he's like, "I love this thing. It's great." I'm like, "I'm glad that you love it. I'm glad that it's not breaking down for you."
Wow.
But I did just 2 weeks ago buy a 1968 F-100 pickup.
Did you really?
Yes,
Completely redone.
completely redone.
What state?
It came from Idaho.
How about that?
Yeah.
Color?
Red.
Red.
Yep.
Chrome rims?
Yep.
20-inch? Or the low profile?
They're lower profile.
Lower
yeah.
profile.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I got to check that out.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's else is in the firm? We all know you do real estate and you do very well. You've got a great system, but I do know that you do other stuff too in the firm.
I do very simple wills,
Okay.
but more on a selective basis.
Past clients type of deal?
Mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
No municipal,
No.
defense work or...
I prosecuted.
I know you were a prosecutor at
Yeah,
one time too.
I prosecuted in Edison for about a year, but honestly, it was taking too much time away from the real estate.
Okay.
I'd be prosecuting, and I'd be getting calls and text messages, and it was just too stressful.
That's a
I had to
lot.
resign.
For your volume
Yeah.
that you do, I could see that being a challenge.
It was, yeah.
A big one.
It was too stressful.
So right now you in North Brunswick, are you branching out anymore, or are you just kind of controlling that market, or do you want to go out into other? I know you do Edison, I know you do parts of Somerset County and stuff like that, but are you looking to open up another office somewhere or move? Because I know usually entrepreneurs don't like to sit idle.
I mean, maybe down the road. My kids are going off to college soon. I don't know, how long
They're
I'm
close
gonna
in age.
be. Yeah, they're within the next 2 years. They're going to be both of them will be in college.
So you'll be an
Yeah.
empty nester.
I will.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm almost
So
there.
I don't know that I don't know how soon I'm going to physically be. How much longer I'm going to physically live in Middlesex County.
Oh, really?
But I'm going to be local.
No, you're going to keep your
Monmouth
business.
County,
It's going to
Middlesex
run.
County.
That's the beauty of, I guess, the new technology.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do have hopes of also going down to Vero Beach.
Okay.
I've gotten licensed. I'm bonded. I'm insured. We already just closed our second Miami Beach deal. I'm
Nice.
starting to do Florida, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Big different.
Yes.
Like, there's maybe 3 counties where the buyer chooses title insurance, and all the other one the seller does.
Okay.
And the seller pays.
And seller pays.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the most interesting thing. It's a
Yes.
whole different mindset down there. But, going into new areas is exciting for me because I want to learn more.
Yeah.
I want to do more. And not necessarily open up either. I think we're just going to do it remotely for a while and create a network of attorneys and go about it that way, and then maybe open up if you get a strong line of business. But for you, I would think, are you barred in any other states?
New York.
New York.
Yeah.
Would you get barred in Florida? I would love you down in Florida.
I may.
There's a little.
I may.
If you get barred down in Florida, that would be something I would absolutely. Not that we're putting our plans out in front of people here, but that's something we would definitely want to.
You know, one
discuss.
of my very, 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 very good friends lives in Vero Beach.
Is that right?
Yes.
How coincidental is that?
Very good friends.
Attorney?
No.
But
He's
they live.
he's a house designer.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Vero Beach to me is awesome.
Yeah.
It's my speed.
Really?
It's not touristy. It's very real Florida to me, and I like that. I stayed down there for a good week, and I really enjoyed it. My speed totally, and so was it for my wife as well. Interestingly enough, though, I keep getting deals in Miami, which is weird.
Yeah.
You know, the people from New Jersey seem to want to move to Miami or have secondary homes in Miami. Price point's a little bit different than
Yeah.
Vero Beach.
Yes.
Between the two. So, the real estate side, tell me when you decided to I'm just going to focus on what other marketing to fortify the amount of business you're doing. Because your reputation is great. You have a good Google Places presence. Are you doing any other marketing than that to strengthen your pipeline?
So, like sponsorships.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Community sponsorships?
no, like
Events?
events.
Okay.
Event sponsorships, yeah.
You're doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
But as far as like direct mail pieces, CRM,
No,
none of that.
no,
That's interesting.
no.
So you just do it because you're cool. You just get it because it's Danielle Lozito and I'm going to get to work. And I don't say that, to be so flippant, but I mean, you laid a very good groundwork because onboarding clients in any industry is the highest expense.
Yeah, yeah.
Your reputation has preceded yourself in such a degree that you don't have a huge marketing expense. Am I missing something? It's pretty good.
Event sponsorships and yeah.
But you go to a lot of different stuff for the realtors.
Yeah, I mean it's showing up, showing
Yeah.
up at events. And things
What's
like
the biggest event of the year that you go to, that you enjoy going to, that, is it the Middlesex Realtors Association or something of that nature?
that. I mean, although I didn't make the real estate convention this year, but that's always a good one.
Yeah, the real estate convention's an interesting place. We used to go there a lot. I pulled back
Yeah.
significantly
Yeah.
from it. I don't think you get your bang out of your buck as much as you used to in marketing. But it's also a liability factor too that I've seen as well,
Yeah.
which is interesting. But the local stuff I think is the bigger thing.
Yes.
We do a lot of events, just like you, sponsoring events for the realtors, for the Bar Association, for the Mortgage Bankers Association, that always seem to do well for us. And, if you ever, and this is we can go off topic, but we use a great CRM,
Okay.
go high level, that integrates into everything. And we actually did create one for attorneys, so we can create different agencies. And Angela sits with you guys and talks about what messaging and getting out and talking to your realtors and also your clients when they come on board automatically. Things that you need covered or signed or something like that. So something we can certainly talk about later down the road. Pricing. How do you price yourself in your market?
I'm at this time, flat fee, 1,500.
Wow, that's great.
That amount has increased
Yeah, but
over time.
1,500's like
Yeah,
the lower end of the middle section,
Yeah.
I would say.
yeah,
And that's for both buys and sales?
yeah,
Okay. And everybody who gets a contract over to you speaks to you first?
yes.
And how do you structure that? With how much time?
How do I?
Structure it.
It runs.
Your
the
hours
gamut.
aren't 9 to 5,
Yeah,
Danielle.
no.
There's no way.
No, they certainly, no. I mean, it runs a gamut. Some people, during that initial call, they may be calling because they just listed their home and they want to have that conversation early on. They may be calling because they signed a contract 3 days ago and
Sure.
attorney review is about to end
Oh, those are
in
the
an
best
hour.
ones, right?
Yes, and or they may be calling because they might be signing a listing agreement in a month, like, so it really runs a gamut. And they may have no questions. Most of the conversations are, I just signed a contract, the seller just accepted my offer, I'm gonna have the realtor send the contract over to you, and I don't have any questions. It really does often go like that.
Really?
Yes.
And when you do get a question, what is the most common questions that you get?
What's your fee?
What is your fee?
Yeah. And most of the time, really, like, especially first-time buyers, don't know what to ask, and then they definitely do have questions as we go. And I tell them, you're not alone. Most buyers don't know what to ask until they come across those questions as we go. You don't necessarily know those questions until they arise.
Right.
So don't be embarrassed that you don't have a ton of questions to ask during that initial consult call. So they're like, okay, fine, what's your fee? Okay, I'm going to hire you.
Great, let's do it.
And then we do our thing and do attorney review. I during attorney review I explain in detail. What the attorney review process is and what the seller's saying. I never, as a practice, I don't like to send attorney review letters to a client and say, here you go, here's a review letter, do you have any questions?
Okay.
I never do that because they look at this and they're like,
what
oh
the
my
hell's
God,
going
what
on?
are you saying?
Yeah.
And so I just break it down to, I look at this stuff, as you know, 15 times a day in and day out.
You can
so
recite it verbatim.
I recite it, and it comes across so easy when I just say, okay, this is what they're saying. It's a 5-minute conversation from me to a layperson. Right. And when they actually see it, sometimes they panic. They're like, oh my God, what is this? What is this? What is this waiver? What is this? But it's so simple when they hear it from me and so calming,
So the top 3 things that you're changing in a contract for a buyer is what? What should people know? Listen, they're going to get the standard real estate contract, but these 3 things I'm going to change.
You always have to be very careful about appraisal.
Yep.
Be very careful about anything to do with waiver language, appraisal, and inspections.
Gotcha.
You
There's no
don't-
automatic waivers, that type of thing.
Yeah. And then appraisal, and I would say similarly on the seller side, you don't, one of my favorite things to dig into when I have a seller is, a buyer may say, let's say we have a contract at $450, and a buyer says that there's an appraisal gap at $420, because they word it all differently. So, that means essentially they're waiving the first $30,000 of an under appraisal. My favorite thing to do when I represent a seller is to say, okay, they're waiving the first 30 of an under appraisal, so as a seller, I'm going to say they have to offer you 30 over appraised value, not to exceed contract price.
Right.
So then if we have a $400,000 appraisal, they've got to lock in and offer you $430. They can't say I'm offering you $400 because it appraised at $400.
Right.
And that means a lot to a seller because that's really what a seller expected.
Right.
But if a buyer writes it up as, if it appraises for less than $430, we can ask you to reduce the price to the appraised value. It's very different.
Very different.
And when I represent a buyer, that's how I'm going to write it up. And sometimes a seller allows it to go in like that.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I know
I say to my buyer,
that means.
hey,
You just got you 30 grand to play with.
Yeah, you can in theory, if you're sick of the transaction, you can in theory ask them to come down to 400, and if they don't, you can cancel the contract. Not that I want that, but
you're defending your client. You're protecting your client's interest. So that's a huge one for people to know.
Yes.
On how they structure their appraisal gaps. What else? Give another tidbit like that. That's a really good one, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a huge one.
From a seller, when I represent a seller, I always have to, you always want to reserve the right to do repairs before a buyer can cancel.
Right.
Buyers always try to stick in language that, if there's structural mechanical defects, they can cancel or request that seller make repairs. You obviously, from a seller's perspective, don't want a buyer canceling because there's a double tap in the electric panel.
Right.
Or something
easy
stupid like that.
Pull apart. Well, let me ask you this then. What's your position on surveys? This has become a real big issue.
Yeah.
And I'm a preacher, get a damn survey.
Yes.
You're buying single family. Condos,
Yes.
townhouses, not so much. Single family. You're a proponent of surveys?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you had any issues like, thank God I did a survey because we found this out.
Yeah. I had a client that declined a survey, and got a survey after the fact, only to find out that there was an easement on her property, from a church that was, an only adjoining property.
Like a conservation easement or
No, an access easement.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
And when we get under contract and through years of doing this, I now say, please let us know if you want us to order a survey. The price is approximately $800. We always recommend a survey. We don't order it unless you direct us because,
Right.
We've gotten into, I used to always order a survey.
Automatically.
And then people got upset that why did you spend my money and order a survey? I didn't want a survey.
Yeah.
So it's difficult,
It is, because you know what's good for them.
It's good for them, but then, lenders
Boom.
stopped requiring surveys. So
Yep.
then the lender would say to the
You
buyer,
don't need this.
you don't need it. Why did your attorney order it? So then I'd be like, am I going to eat this $800 and pay for their survey
Right.
because I went ahead and ordered it? Their lender's telling them, why did I order it?
Right.
And sometimes the realtor would say, why did your attorney order it? You don't need a survey. But it's always recommended.
But from your standpoint as an attorney, and if you're a buyer yourself, get a survey.
Absolutely.
100%.
You never know what it's going to show.
How about enhanced for standard title insurance policies? Have you dabbled in that much?
Not so much. No.
So we're making a big push on the enhanced because, yes, it's a 20% increase in the premium, but standard policy only covers the chain of title up to the date of closing.
Yes.
Fraud, defect,
Yep.
defective documents. But this covers on the enhanced for 20% more for the rest of your ownership through the future. And people, I have a situation now where somebody found someone's deed, or they actually robbed a mailbox. These people robbed the post office mailbox.
Really?
Got a deed. One of ours, original, mailed out.
Recorded.
It was recorded, but the original was sent out to the client, like we do, right? They changed the name on a corrective. They used the original, turned it into a corrective, fraudulently got it notarized, changed it from our insured into an LLC. Wow. Right? Think about this. So now they're battling. They have their own defense because it's post policy. It's not a future. And it was robbed at the post office.
Wow.
You can't sue the post office.
Yeah.
And it's just a terrible situation. But it's getting resolved. The long and short of it's but through a clear title action. But the cost to do that.
Yeah.
The enhanced policy would have covered that.
So the enhanced policy is 20% more premium. So usually the premium is under $2,000 or so.
Well, it depends.
Depending on the purchase price.
Correct. And there's this, it's statute ratified through the rating manual. But, this 20%, and it has to be primary owned. It can't be an investment property. It can't be vacant land. And it can't be a corporation. It has to be an individual. But the coverages that it has, and it includes surveys as well.
Okay.
You don't have to, it protects against encumbrances without a survey.
Okay. Okay.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like what it covers. So it's an option
Yeah.
that some people should really understand because of all the fraud. And I just got to notice that the fraudsters are using AI to duplicate people's
Yes.
voices.
Yes.
They'll duplicate Danielle Lozito's voice to say, hey, go wire to this. This is Danielle. I've been talking to you about your deal. That's the crazy stuff
Yeah.
that's going on. So that's why we invented, or not invented, but used certified ID.
Yes.
I know some people
Yes.
say it's clunky,
Yes.
but we don't hire unless somebody verifies their identity.
Yes. Definitely.
So these are all the things that we're trying to do to help you guys, the attorneys, for all of us stay out of trouble and keep things on the tracks.
Yeah.
And it's because way perception of what should be done by some people in the industry, it does take longer. Let the process play out.
Exactly.
Let us be safe. You know, the mover can wait. You know?
Yes, I agree.
There's bigger problems on the horizon if we rush this situation. And that's, been my message to people. Maybe as I get older, I used to want to be a big pleaser, on every aspect. But now it's like, I want to do things right
Yes.
and secure.
Yes.
Not that I wasn't doing right and secure. I was rushing.
Yes.
Now we're taking our time.
Yeah.
Describe the office you're in now.
The office, what?
Your office now.
My new office?
Your new digs, yeah.
Yeah.
2 years now, though.
Yeah. I think about 3. Yeah.
That's quick.
It's an older house, and it's got parking and plenty of space, and my ex-husband found that for me.
That's cool.
And my ex-husband had a very great relationship with my dad, and he called me and he's like, Danielle, and I have a great relationship with my ex-husband, and he called me and he's like, Danielle, I think you better check this out. He's like, it's an off-market property, no realtors, there's like a sign hanging over it, and you got to check this out. It's right at the top of the hill where your dad's office was. Same street, next town
Wow.
over. He's like, you have to check this out. He's like, I could hear your dad kind of like talking to me, and he's like, you're a fool if you don't go check this out. And I'm like, oh, move my office. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll go check it out.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And you were still a prosecutor then, too.
Yes. And I did, and I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing this. And like I was telling you before we started, I wound up buying my new office for, considerably less than I actually sold my old office for. And
That's amazing.
It's twice the square footage.
Right. And the parking.
And parking. And
It's very nice.
well,
it's well decorated.
Yeah.
Really
Well,
nice.
that's what
very
I love.
cool, laid back, but still professional
Yes.
and presentable.
Yes.
When I do go into closings and I do look at the office, I do look to see the organizational structure of how they did their offices. It tells a lot about
Yes.
who you're dealing with.
Yes.
I would, if I were you, market that office big time because it's
Yes.
so nice.
Yes.
And it's very comfortable to do closings
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and it makes a bit more sense than my older office, because my older office had I was right in the front.
That's
and
right.
And it was,
You saw everybody coming in.
I
They
saw
saw you
everybody coming
too.
in.
You couldn't hide from anybody.
I couldn't. Sometimes I'd be there working on the phone, and somebody would come in, and I'd turn around and they'd be looking at me, and I didn't know sometimes who they were.
Right.
And that was a little difficult at times to manage, because they might have been the person that I just hung up the phone with, and they were looking at me, and I have a little more privacy, and a lot less disruptions in my new office.
So tell me, let's end it with this. Give 3 reasons why you're a success, and we're going to turn that into advice for younger attorneys
Yes.
or professionals. It doesn't have to be attorneys to
Yes.
take away from this, but give 3. It's almost like that guy who does you know what I mean? How did you become a millionaire? Kind of thing, that kind of question.
Oh, the guy with the cars.
Yeah,
The guys,
yeah.
yes.
But seriously, 3 pieces of advice that you still adhere to today that you
Yes.
would give to the young attorney or professional coming up.
I guess I care. I care a lot. You know, you have to, you have to come from a place where you, you care about everything, and you have like a follow through where, you know, I don't like shrug things off. Like if something is escalated to me, I do want to see it through to conclusion. Like if, you know, if a complaint is escalated to me.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sure you see this too. You know, it's very easy to offend people in this industry, and you know, something that you least expect is going to offend somebody. You know, next thing you know, you get a text and you're like, oh, you didn't, you know, do this right, and then you know, and it's escalated to you, and then you have to fix it.
Right.
You can't just be like, oh, I don't agree with you, and
Move on.
screw
from
you.
that. Right.
You know, you have to fix it.
You have to address it.
You have to care. You have to, you know, address it and get closure on it.
That's one.
That's one.
Follow through.
Follow through and caring. I don't stop. I don't stop. You know, you have to. It's not a 9 to 5 job.
No.
Certainly. You know, like I said, you know, you have to clean the toilets and unclog the toilet if it clogs, and that's literal and figurative
No,
as well.
it's a very good point. You got to learn to grind.
Yeah, I mean, those COVID days, I remember I was at my desk sometimes at 7 a.m., came home, I made dinner for the family, and then I was probably back in a reclining chair with my laptop on, from probably like 8 to like midnight, and then same thing the next day. But those were good days.
Yes, they were great
yeah.
days. Never want to go back to it though.
No.
Learned a lot about yourself in that moment.
And then I guess third is, I mean, I guess you have to remain, you know, you can't panic. You have to just remain confident and calm, because you know, the second that you panic, you know, I guess everything is figure outable.
Yes.
You know.
Especially now with, you know, ChatGPT and everything else you work with. But,
Yeah.
you know, I think the last thing that I would say in terms of keeping confident is trusting your training.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what you've learned over, 14 years of doing what you do?
Yeah.
And even longer with the 10 years of insurance work. So you're talking 24 years of experience that people are getting for $1,500.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And I want to add a fourth too.
Go ahead.
You know, the respect for your colleagues is like, I mean, like the connections that I have with my colleagues. Like I love the real estate attorneys. I
like you could talk to them.
Yes,
you know?
and it goes so far. Like I mean, the names that I could think of. Like I mean, you know, like we threw a get together, a real estate attorney get together 2 years ago, and Aaron and I are talking now about putting together another one this
Really?
summer. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
Like just like, you know, the connections that you develop, and you know, the respect that we have for each other. Like we're not against each other. We're all like, we're so supportive of each other, and you have to just remember that, and that's a real like driver of like
Keeping deals together.
Yeah, keeping these together
And keeping stress down.
Yes, and keeping stress down, and you know, we're all in this together. Like, you know, when we have a problem, like I mean, I can call like Val or Stacy or Aaron and just be like, hey, I have a problem. Can you help me?
Right.
And Evan, and you know, and work it out, and that goes so long,
It does.
so far, and such a long way.
I hate when I get a deal and you're in the middle as a title company, and then your seller's attorney and buyer's attorney have egos, and they're out trying to with each other over a real estate transaction, where if they just pick up the phone and stop these ridiculous emails
Yeah.
going back and forth. I mean, my goodness, you're not helping yourselves. Number one, you look like idiots, and number two, you're hurting your client.
Yeah.
Because they want to get the deal done. You can do it like the way you do it with the networking, and say, listen, I got to protect my clients here and here and here. We can't bend on that.
Yeah.
Help me out here, and get your client to understand why.
Definitely.
And that's how it goes down.
Yeah.
It doesn't go down just on cold emails.
Definitely.
This business is so human. Everybody's worried about AI taking over. I don't think so.
No.
Because it's such an emotional purchase, they need humans to calm those emotions and guide them to the closing. Well, Danielle, this was awesome. Great
Thank you.
having you here.
Thank
Coming
you.
down
Thank you.
from
Thank
North
you for having
Brunswick.
me.
No, it's fantastic. I think we've covered a lot of ground, gave a lot of tidbits for people.
Yeah.
I think people understand who you are and what drives you. And I really thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.